Good evening, and I know what you're thinking. There is no possible way there are cameras powerful enough to capture this much classiness in one frame.
Style, taste,
Yes.
discerning looks. That's what we have.
Sophistication.
Major sophistication.
Major sophistication.
Championship level.
It is championship level sophistication. Yeah. I appreciate that. It is the night of the College Football Playoff National Championship. My name is Dan. The gentleman rocking the deep crimson-colored turtleneck is Ryan Nanny, and we are here. We're going to speak to experts. We're going to break down all things College Football Playoff National Championship, of course, between Alabama and Clemson. We're going to wager on some prop bets. We're going to explain these envelopes in front of us momentarily. We are going to consult a betting consultant friend of the SB Nation show, in which we are on right now. First, though, is there anything last minute that we need to get out of the way news-wise?
I mean, the biggest thing we're looking at for Clemson, at least, is that their two biggest defensive playmakers, Shaq Lawson and Mackenzie Alexander, are dinged up, but it sounds like they're going, according to all indications, they're going to play. I don't think we necessarily know how much they're going to play, at what speed they're going to play. Those are the kind of things that coaches, themselves don't really have a good sense of, just because you don't know until they hit the field how they're going to feel. But that feels like a pretty major issue for Clemson right now, having to tamp down this Alabama offense without those two guys, at least for stretches, or maybe not at their top.
Hard to imagine, yes, that injuries, anything short of really destroying the team. If Mackenzie Alexander really can't run stride for stride or near stride for stride, because still has the instincts to play the position with somebody like Calvin Ridley or Darius Stewart or Shaq Lawson, if he really doesn't have anywhere near the burst he needs or the strength he needs, that they're going to play. It does feel like this is the situation that they're going to be in the lineup. I can't imagine they won't be. But listen, I don't know how Mackenzie Alexander's hamstring feels right now.
I do kind of regret that we didn't use this segment to tell vicious and ridiculous lies to our viewers, just to see what they would buy and what they wouldn't.
Oh, fair enough.
Nick Saban, he just quit. He said the Browns job was just too appealing.
Exclusive.
This game didn't matter.
Exclusive. Yeah. We should explain the envelopes because we're going to be making wagers. We're going to be reviewing prop bets for the game. Your sort of more standard, points scored over under, your general spread, how many yards does this quarterback pass for, stuff like that. But also we've got some unusual ones as well.
A couple custom props.
And we have each prepared a live read to be read on the show. Whoever loses has to read the other's prepared statement. We have not seen it. It is 100%. Each of our statements are in these envelopes, and we're going to get to them in the post-game show, which will be occurring shortly after the conclusion of the game. So, with that, I think we should get into it, right?
Yeah, why not?
Let's get into it. We're going to talk to experts from both our Clemson and Alabama sites. So we're going to start with our Clemson site, Shaking the Southland, the SB Nation community that covers Clemson better than anybody else in the damn world. Brian Lewis from that community. Brian, what is your emotion like now? We're about 50 minutes ahead of kickoff. And we've spoken a little bit a few weeks ago before the playoff, but what is your emotion like? What have you focused in on more as we near kickoff in what you think about the game?
I mean, I was probably slightly pessimistic about 6 hours ago, and then 4 hours ago, all hell pretty much broke loose when some reports about Mackenzie Alexander started coming out, and nosed that pretty quickly there. But thankfully, it looks like he's going to play. Obviously, a big question mark, and it's, no shock to say that his health may be the single biggest thing that matters in this game for Clemson.
What are you going to be looking for early on? Do you have any early tells that if Clemson can do this or handle that, say, in the first, and it's hard to say in the first drive, but in the first 2 or 3 drives, that will give you confidence or will strike you with a bit of worry?
I think it's going to be how well Coker is doing in the passing game. I think Clemson's going to handle Henry. He's only got 0.2 more yards per carry than Wayne Gallman does, and everybody loves him just on that difference. He's a volume rusher. So early on, I think we're going to stop him. It's a matter of, can we also limit Coker in the passing game, prevent Michigan State? And if I see that, I'm going to be pretty confident that it's going to be low-scoring, close game that we can win.
Brian, national championships are occasionally the place where a player we haven't heard of or somebody who is more of just an occasional role player steps up and has a really big game. If there is somebody out there for Clemson who might fit that role, who would it be?
I think on defense, it's going to be Cordea Tankersley, who I know we've talked about before, but not a big name in the public. He's the second cornerback, for the Clemson defense, and Alabama's going to go after him. But, if he comes up with some big picks, he could be a star tonight. And then on offense, I think it's Ray McLeod.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of that electric player, that Sammy Watkins type of guy that could just go off. He's young, true freshman, but if we put the ball in his hands, some magic could happen tonight.
All right, final question, and asking for a score doesn't mean all that much, but what type of game do you foresee? Do you think, because both of these teams have the capability of a shootout in them, do you think we have like a game in the 30s, 40s? Do you think it's lower scoring and sloppy? We've seen it in national championships with a lot more time off. How do you think the rhythm of this game goes?
I think it's going to be kind of your old school man ball, score-wise. It's going to be, I struggle to see anyone scoring more than 21 to 24 points in this, and I think it's a one-score game, regardless of the outcome. It's just, unless you get something like Notre Dame, Alabama in 2012, just off-the-cuff early play, it's not going to happen.
Brian Lewis, Shaking the Southland, thank you very much. Do you agree with him? A lot of people are thinking closer to kickoff that Alabama could be running away with this.
Yeah, I think that's part of it is just our memories of what we've seen Alabama do in national championship games.
Yes.
Yeah, or the game against LSU, where it's sort of like, this is a team that comes in prepared.
Wait, no, LSU still has not crossed the 50. They still have not crossed the 50.
Wow, LSU fans were not ready for that.
I love that callback.
They just
I'm
weren't
sorry.
at all. But yeah, I think part of it is just we're used to seeing Alabama in that position, so some part of our brain says they're going to do that again. Clemson, as impressive as they've been all year, we still haven't seen Clemson on this stage before, so fair or not, there's that part of us that says, well, maybe it was all a mirage. I don't think that's true, for the record.
Right.
I think Clemson can hang with Alabama, and more importantly, I think Clemson can take a punch from Alabama early and not just go careening off the side of the mountain, because that was what happened to Notre Dame and LSU.
And to Michigan State.
And Michigan State.
Clemson is a team that is built to win in a number of ways, where Michigan State is not, where LSU was not, Notre Dame was not. But Clemson is a team. They can go down 17, and you can say, listen, there's a quarter and a half.
Yep.
There's a lot of time.
Yep.
All right, we are now going to be joined by Eric Evans of Roll Bama Roll, of course, the premier Alabama community on these here interwebs. Eric, we are now, about 45 minutes till kick. Where is your confidence? What have you been thinking about lately as it relates to tonight's game?
I'm feeling a lot more confident as the week goes on, actually.
Why is that?
Well, Clemson presents, obviously, some matchup issues on the outside, particularly if they try and hit the seams against Mari Smith, which I'm sure they will. But I just don't think that Gallman and Watson's ground game, as undoubtedly good as it is going to be able to make hay. Alabama has shut down every quarterback, running or not, every running back, with just his front four. And that's going to make a very crowded second level for Watson to throw. And when he's turned into a game manager like he was versus Oklahoma in the first half, it's just not the same guy.
All right, and what will happen early to dramatically change your mind from this stance?
I'd say I don't think anything's going to happen early.
Wow, I like that. I like that confidence.
Yeah.
Why is that?
And I mean that for either team. Alabama does not give up many early points, nor do they score many. I believe they scored 5 points total in their first quarters of the last 5 ball games. So they just don't score early. It's a lot of punch, punch, playing rope-a-dope, turning it over to the defense. And then, it's the old mantra, you play the first 3 quarters to win the fourth. And I think that's what we're going to see here.
Eric, if there's a number, a statistic or something like that, that at halftime you could say that's the important one, that's what will determine whether or not Alabama is firing on all cylinders and on the way to another national title, or whether Clemson is going to give them a game, what number might that be?
Average starting field position. Clemson is 99th and 100th, respectively, in starting offense and opponent-adjusted defensive starting position. But they make a lot of mistakes early, and it comes back to haunt them in field position. If Alabama gets good field position, say their average starting positions at their own 38, 40, somewhere like that, it's going to be a long night.
Fair enough. Eric Evans, Roll Bama Roll, thank you very, very much for joining us. I like that confidence.
Yeah,
I gotta
absolutely.
say, I like that confidence. Are you sold on his powers of persuasion?
I understand why Alabama fans feel that way,
Yes.
and certainly the news of the last week has not done anything to sort of dissuade them. It has sort of poked holes in Clemson's depth and sort of their star players and things like that. But maybe I'm just hopeful that we're going to have a game that is a little more cat and mouse, a little more of a chess match that doesn't just...
What is a winning game plan? Obviously, there are a number of winning game plans against a defense like Alabama's, which certainly isn't as experienced and as clearly NFL talent laden as perhaps previous Alabama defenses, but a team that can rely on its front seven alone to cause so much damage without bringing a safety up, without pressuring like a lot of teams need to do against a talented team like Clemson. What does a team need to do or need to rely on to even pace themselves against Alabama?
I mean, I think it's that you have to sort of say, we're not going to play Alabama's game.
Yes.
We're not just going to crash into their line over
Right.
and over again. But you also can't swing too far the other direction.
Right.
You can't just start saying we're going to go for it on fourth downs where we shouldn't. We're going to, take some risks. It really is. I mean, it's so boring, and it's maybe what Nick Saban wants you to do.
Right.
It's managed risk. It's sort of
Yes.
treating everything like you're an insurance agent, saying yes, that falls within an acceptable level, that doesn't, but not going into a shell. I mean,
Right.
I think that's what so many teams do against Alabama. Is They're
Yes.
just like, well, they're so good, we should probably just feel them out a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good approach.
For Clemson's sake, let's
Yeah.
hope Deshaun Watson has just a little bit of a screw loose tonight.
Okay.
Just a little bit
Just
of a
a
screw
little,
loose
yeah.
to take a chance that coaches are like, I guess if it's their try,
Right.
he needs a couple of
Like
those.
a Maverick Top Gun thing.
Yes, that's exactly what he needs to do. All right, and with that, we're going to go to Mike Quinn, special wagering consultant for tonight's pregame show, to break down his special values and his stayaways for the evening.
Here's some props you may want to consider putting some coin on tonight. I'm expecting a slower style game tonight, and scoring will be at a premium. So I think there will be some value at plus 185 for the first score being a field goal or a safety. If the first 14 games of the season have been any indication, Alabama has been reluctant to let Jake Coker loose with airing out the ball, and understandably so when you have the Heisman Trophy winner in your backfield. Even though Clemson's top cover corner is a game-time decision, I still don't think it will affect Bama's game plan all that much, and Clemson is strong in the secondary anyway, so I say go under 19.5 Jake Coker completions. The coin toss. I've never understood the appeal about betting on the coin toss. At minus 115, it is a negative expected value move in an even proposition event. Statistics 101 tells you to shy away from that one, and I suggest you to listen to it. Finally, I view this game as very even, so there's always a chance for some free football. At plus 520, it might be worth taking a flyer on yes, there will be overtime. And if you're looking for a more traditional route tonight, take the points with Clemson and look for an under. That's it for tonight. Until next time, good luck and keep cashing.
Thank you very much to Michael Quinn of MrQuinnBets.com.
I would love an overtime game.
That would be
I mean,
incredible.
it does mean we're here later.
Right.
And I know you need your sleep.
I do need my rest.
But overtime game would be wonderful.
To see Nick Saban pacing on the sideline. Wonderful.
It would, you want a competitive game. Overtime is the most competitive it can get.
Absolutely.
I say that knowing your recent experience with overtime as an Oregon fan.
See, and there's a TCU logo. If you can see this right this was not planned, and whoever, I'm not.
I love it.
That joke is deserved, and I'll let you have it.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into our wagering, our prop bets for tonight.
Yeah.
Let's start with the spread. It depends where you're getting it, but 6.5, 7 points, Alabama favored to win this game. Where's your mind?
I think I'm going to go with Alabama here.
Okay.
I know I've talked about I want this to be a close game, whatever.
You're going to manage risk.
Maybe Eric has convinced
Alabama,
me. Yeah, I think maybe if the spread were more indicative of Bama just blowing them out, I would be more tempted But yeah, I'll take Alabama. I think they can cover.
I'm going to go with wide receiver U. I'm going to go with Christian Wilkins. Another weird fake punt.
Yeah.
How about that?
Wow.
I'm going to go Clemson to keep it close. I do like Alabama to win it, but 24-21. I'm going to take points with a front that talented and a quarterback that good.
Yep.
I will happily take the points.
Okay.
And I am always wrong. It should be noted. I am professionally wrong.
That means you'll have to read this.
It means I'll have to read this. So we're disagreeing there. We've disagreed on all of these. Total points, over under of 51. Where are you standing?
I'll take the over.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think there is potential in this game for either one of these teams, probably Bama, to just step on Clemson and run away with it. And if they don't, as we said, I think Clemson can hang with Bama even if they go down 2 scores early and still make it a game. I don't think this is a game where you can score 17 points and say, okay, I'm done.
Right.
So
That's that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go under here just because I think both teams are going to be relatively tight. Jake Coker and Deshaun Watson certainly have not played on a stage like this prior to the semifinal, and I don't know if I'm fully...
Deshaun Watson played Boston College, sir.
Yes.
How
Excuse
dare
me.
you? How dare you?
Excuse me. And Jake Coker certainly had games where he looked less than a national championship caliber quarterback this season.
That's
so
fair.
I'm going to go with the under there. The longest touchdown has an over-under of 50.5.
Yeah. I like the under here.
Why?
Just Alabama is very good at making sure that their positioning is so strong that, maybe you break a big 15-yard pass, they're keeping it from becoming a 40-yard pass.
Yes.
They are keyed on making sure that you take only what you're given and no more. They're like the meanest cafeteria lunch lady.
Yeah, and I like your pick of under, especially our friend Andy Staples wrote a piece about how Alabama has gone faster and smaller in their secondary to keep up with spread offenses, which I think definitely makes it more difficult to pull off a long play. There's so much speed on this field. Unless you have somebody like a Tavon Austin or a DeAnthony Thomas, somebody like that, it's going to be nearly impossible to just pace a long run. I'm going over because I'm always wrong. I explained why that.
Do you know why? You know why I think you might be okay though?
Why?
Special teams.
Special teams.
I could see a special teams touchdown in this game.
Just like we did with Alabama against Michigan State. Next, Derrick Henry's total rushing yardage.
Yeah.
An over-under of 145.5.
I'm going to take the under here.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Brian's right, and they're going to be able to stop Derrick Henry early. Teams have shown, maybe not through the course of 4 quarters, that they can do that. But yeah, I think there's a good possibility that Derrick Henry puts up good numbers, but not crazy good.
All right, I'm going to go with the over. Excuse me here. I'm going to say, let's look back at Eddie Lacy against Notre Dame. Let's look what a big power back has done for Alabama in a national championship game against what we perceive to be a very good front. I feel like Lane Kiffin is certainly going to give him the opportunities after last season to reach that mark. I'm going to go with that there. Deshaun Watson pass attempts, 36.5.
I like the under here.
Okay.
And that's because maybe this is me hedging with the Derrick Henry number. I think if Derrick Henry does get over 145 yards, that means that Alabama is having those long, sustained, time-draining drives. And I think that will keep the ball out of Clemson's hands long enough that Deshaun Watson's just not going to be able to get
Even
that
if they're throwing a lot, he won't reach that number.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to have I think there's a possibility they won't get the possessions to make that happen. Or if they do, it's because they are able to use that Watson-Gallman combination on the ground, and they lean on that more.
Fair enough. I think Clemson's defense is good enough to prevent long, sustained drives. I don't know if they're good enough to prevent touchdowns.
Sure.
But I think 14 play, 81 yards is a lot to ask against this Clemson defense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the over. I mean, he's thrown the ball 40 times in the game. I believe 3 times this season. I might be wrong, 2 or 3 times.
In some of their closer games, too.
In some of their close, even against Wake, he threw the ball a lot of times. So if Alabama,
and that's against Wake.
Yes, that is against Wake. Who runs the ball successfully against Alabama? Nobody. Nobody. So I think Clemson won't be afraid to abandon. Wayne Gallman is very good, like Brian said, but he is not somebody where we have to keep feeding him even though it's not working. He's not on that level. So I like Deshaun Watson to go over there. And we also have a couple of weird ones.
Let's do the weird
ones. A couple
ones. These are my favorite.
Over-unders.
If I just win these 2 and I lose the other 5, I will happily read your folder.
The number of Auburn fans spotted by television cameras in the crowd, the over-under we're setting is 1.5. And by Auburn fans, I mean Auburn apparel is shown.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the under here.
Interesting. Why?
And that's because I think Auburn fans spent all that money traveling to that beautiful bowl game. such a hike for them.
Yeah.
You know, probably had to pack a snack for the drive.
Yep. Gatorade. Yeah.
The post-game celebrations, T-shirts, hats, replica trophies. I mean, it's not every day that you get to beat Memphis in a bowl game. Transitively have a win against Ole Miss. Transitively have a win against Alabama or Eagle.
I'm going to say finding two smart-ass Auburn fans in a giant crowd of college football fans is not all that difficult.
Okay.
Not that difficult.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the over there. And our final wager, our final prop bet is the number of surrender cobras captured by TV cameras in the first half.
In the event somebody watching this doesn't know what a surrender cobra is, coined by Holly Anderson, formerly of Grantland.
Yes.
Will you demonstrate?
So a surrender cobra is anytime you incredulously are watching something on the fields, disappointed, can't believe
Shocked.
what you've seen, can happen at any point in the game, usually happens at the end of the game.
Sure.
Your hands have to be raised and have to make contact
As if you
with
were
your head.
a displaying cobra.
So if you see the sort of cobra element of me, so it could be back here,
Could be back there.
could be back there,
Up
could
top.
be any sort of combination that
Yeah.
elicits a diamond shape up top.
Yeah.
So it could be Alabama returning the opening kick for 103-yard
Absolutely.
touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Clemson fans are like, oh God,
Yeah.
already? And there it is, first half.
That's your surrender cobra.
So
So number of surrender cobras,
It basically yes or no, because it's 0.5. It's a half.
I'm going to say not in the first half.
Oh.
I'm going to say not in the first
I
half.
like the over. I'm going with that
Over?
over.
Okay.
Yes, I think we get a surrender cobra in the first half. Those are our picks. These are our envelopes for a
How long is yours? Can I just ask?
30 seconds.
Okay.
20 to 30
I think
seconds.
mine's about the same.
Okay, fair.
I really hope mine wins. I would love to see you read this on camera.
How's your neck doing?
It's a little itchy.
It's toasty and itchy.
You know,
Yeah.
the word is thrown around too often. Danny Cannell is a hero for wearing this on television.
All day.
All-
We're doing a half-hour
day.
show, and
I already am sick of it.
I am. Yeah, it's a small man.
These, we should point out, Danny Cannell probably spent more than the, $14?
It was between 14 and 18, which, by the way, we ordered them on Amazon. And when you order certain clothing items on Amazon and they come from a different continent, the sizing is different. So I'm wearing a size medium, which is like an Asian triple XL, which makes you feel very weird.
Yep. It means you could go to Asia and just dominate the basketball.
I think that's what it means.
Yeah.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah, so hopefully you won't even be here for the post-game show. You'll be dunking on whoever's playing in the Chinese Basketball League these days.
I'm already daydreaming. I am already daydreaming. So final score, once again.
I mean, if I guess I'm committed to taking Bama.
You are committed to taking Bama.
-7. So I'll say Bama 28, Clemson 20.
Okay, and I'm on record saying
a narrow cover.
24-21.
Okay.
The Alabama-Clemson tie.
Okay.
By the way, I should tell you that when you were talking about what Clemson can't do is play Alabama's game. You can't win. You can't beat Alabama trying to be Alabama.
Yeah.
All I could picture was me trying to post up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And it...
I don't think he's in the Chinese Basketball League.
Even daydreaming, I was not succeeding. It's not as if I were hitting fadeaways.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I went so old, not something more recent. But I'm wearing a turtleneck and a blazer, so I went with Kareem. That felt
feels
right. Doesn't it feel right?
Yeah.
And him just really denying me
What
over and over
says
again.
the college football championship like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in a post game?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, I think we should wrap it up.
Let's do it.
This is what I need people to do. I need people to follow SB Nation CFB on Twitter. I need you to follow whoever you want on Twitter, but they're going to be doing a terrific job. Follow SB Nation Snaps on Snapchat, Instagram. Do all the fun social SB Nation things. We are going to be tweeting and having fun all game long. We're going to be doing this in the post-game part of the evening, right after the game. We're going to have all sorts of more fun. One of us is going to be reading from an envelope, and we're going to be wearing these wretched, awful, compressing things. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you after the game.